going on, guys? It is your boy Deuces, and today I am finally making the video. And that video is going to be about one of my favorite RPGs, and honestly one of the most underrated RPGs in the last decade, and that has to go to Final Fantasy 15. I see this game get so much unwarranted hate, and today I just wanted to talk about why some of those reasons make absolutely no sense, and why this game is actually an underrated gem. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. So one of the biggest complaints with this game is that it's a boring circle masher that really gets boring after the first couple of hours, which is insane to me because it's almost like you didn't play for a couple of hours, because you will soon realize that this fighting system is so much more in depth than people will give it credit for. You can press the stick in any direction and get a different move, which can be good in different situations, such as if you have a polearm and you press up, you're going to launch up in the sky and start poking down below with the polearm, and then add that with some air step buffs, you become a complete aerial ace and you don't even have to touch the ground. You can just poke from up above. This is probably one of the best things for the Iron Giant, even though he isn't weak to the sword. I think doing good damage while being up in the air is more worth it than staying down low and just trying to hit him with really heavy hits while he's giving you some really heavy hits. You know what I mean? Like, you could easily just fly around with either a sword or a polearm and just poke at him until he's dead, and if you're good enough as an aerial ace, he will never touch you. Also, there's so many other different things, such as if you use the daggers and you back up, you're going to throw the daggers at the enemy, and sometimes you can get this 2 or 3, some even 4 or 5 times, which is amazing for enemies that are weak to daggers, because if you are in the heat of the moment and you're getting banged up, you can easily back up, get some distance, while also still throwing damage into the mix and not leaving the entire workload up to Ignis. Another cool thing about this game is that you can switch to your characters now. This is something that wasn't prevalent at the beginning of the game, but now you get so much extra utility out of your characters. Do you not like running guns? Because in all honesty, Noctis's gunplay is pretty boring. He kind of just sits there and presses circle. Him with the gun is actually a circle mash. But you know who isn't? Prompto. Prompto is by far, in my opinion, the best character in this game, hands down, with just how hard he can go with his gun, and especially when he gets his piercer moments or his crit moments where he just absolutely dookies on the enemy. Every character is so good at what they do, you know, like if you don't want to make a mage, your Noctis a mage and equip spells and gather mana from little posts, it's understandable. Just use Ignis. Ignis can do that for you. I think them adding the extra characters really added a lot to the combat, so even if you did try the game out before and you just really didn't like the feel of it, I would recommend trying it again with this Royal Edition update, because you can play as every character and truly get the most out of your Noctis. Now, this is a complaint that I think has gone just way too overboard, because I'm not going to sit here and convince you guys that this game's story is a masterpiece, because it's not. There are a lot of flaws in this story, just as there is in any other story. But to call it an absolute flop is absolutely ridiculous. This game is a story of brotherhoods. These 4 men who've grown up together, 2 of them are basically teachers to Noct, while the other one is his actual best friend, and each of them go through their own arcs, and it's just incredible to see how it goes. I'm trying my hardest not to spoil it for you guys, because I want you to play, but man, it's just, Prompto, the most lovable character, just has so much depth to him, and I just have to mention the fact that this game's voice acting is perfect in both the English and Japanese language. I've beat the game regularly in English and then New Game Plus in Japanese, and both voices convey just so much emotion. Especially, I have to give props to the English voice of Prompto, Robbie Damon, because he absolutely knocked the ball out of the park, as Prompto became one of my favorite characters within moments. Characters like Ignis, you just think are stern assholes, but you realize are actually really cool guys, and he has to be that way because someone in the squad has to be, proper. Someone has to be the example. So who else but Ignis? The father character, the one that drives, the one that keeps everything on course, and the guy that constantly reminds Noctis of his true mission. Unlike Prompto, who's always wanting to stop and take pictures, wanting to stop and look at the chocobos, stop and smell the daisies. And then there's the big guy Gladio. He's just a giant meat stick that loves cup ramen. Even the big guy has a freaking personality, man. This guy just loves his cup ramen and his sister. He just wants to be the shield of the king. Midway through the game, you're gonna think that he's a giant, I'm trying to be nice here, meanie. Okay, I'm just gonna say a douchebag. But he's actually trying to toughen Noct up, because certain events happen in the game that just make Noct turn into the emo Sasuke lookalike that he is. And towards the end of the game, he isn't that anymore. He's truly become the king, and that's what this game is. This game is the journey to becoming king, the journey to maturity. At the beginning of the game, Noctis is a child, but by the end of the game, he truly steps into the shoes of the king. Shoes that he was not ready for it during the first or second chapter. But after 15 whole chapters, he finally embraced it, and not only became a king, he became the king. This section of the video is just kind of me just going to dick ride Final Fantasy 15 and just kind of try to explain to you guys what I see in this game. And what I see in this game is a fantastic RPG. Not only is the basic level ups there, the entire Ascension grid, which has a lot of replay value, as the limit breaks cost so damn much, and then you're like, are they worth it? But then you get them and oh man, are they worth it. The damage you can do. Weapons of every assortment. You want a sword that does cold damage, poison damage, fire damage, a sword that is upgradable with different materials, like the Ultima Blade, which can end up becoming the best sword in the game. Do you want pole arms? Do you want it to do extra damage while you're in the air? Do you want it to have a chance for paralyzation? Like, this game has so many different variants, and they can combo so well with your playstyle. Because this game also has accessories that can give you what you want. Do you want to be a powerhouse? Give yourself a strength amulet or bracelet or whatever crazy freaking accessory you can find with what you need. You can find accessories out there with vitality and strength upgrades. You don't want vitality and strength, you want to be a crazy mage, all 4 of your freaking slots taken up by mage powers, you want to be the Emperor Palpatine Noctis, you can do that. You can become Emperor Palpatine Noctis. Throw every single sort of freaking lightning you want. You can throw fire. You can become the Zuko. Like, this game, you can do it. It gives you the accessories to do it. Also, clothes in this game give you buffs, which means that if you wear certain attires, they can combo well with your play style. There's just so much variety and so much things you can do in this game. You want side quests? This game has side quest lines up the wazoo. Not even mentioning the hunts you can do, which send you all around the freaking Lucis for you to just hunt anywhere from a couple of little dogs, pretty much, to a whole freaking mountain turtle. I'm not lying to you. A mountain turtle. A turtle that is a mountain. I can't stress this enough. Freaking man, this game just has so much cool stuff. And how can I even forget the fishing mini game? this game is in no way, shape, or form mentioned to be a fishing mini game, but this game has one of the coolest fishing mini games in any game ever. You can get different fishing lines, you can get different rods, you can customize your rod. Of course, this isn't freaking Cabela's Wild Hunts or I don't know, whatever fishing games people play. Fishing Planet. Let's use that one. Um, just so many different things you can do in this game, man. You want mini games? You can bet on animals fighting each other in Altissia. How did I forget about Altissia? One of the most beautiful, and I mean beautiful if you guys don't believe me, check out the Altissia trailer from Final Fantasy's official page, man. It is gorgeous. It is to die for. Man, so many different things. If you guys truly want to see the beauty of Final Fantasy 15, there's actually a video of that same name on YouTube. It popped up in my recommendeds not too long ago, and man, it's only about less than 5 minutes, if not about 5 minutes, and I would recommend giving it a watch if you've never played the game before, man. Some of these sceneries, the different plains, the different biomes, the swamps, the water. The water in this game looks beautiful, and you walk through it, your clothes actually get wet and stay wet for a decent amount of time, like a realistic amount of time. You can choose whether you want to camp and eat food for buffs the next day, or sleep in and get your XP multiplied. And certain characters like different things. If you camp, certain characters like different foods. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, Gladio loves cup ramen. Prompto and Noct love sleeping in a bed. Gladio loves camping. Ignis is indifferent, of course. Just so many different things, man. This game has so much to offer with one of the most in-depth fighting mechanics. Not crazy in-depth like you're gonna do some Tekken 7 wombo combo, but in-depth enough for an RPG, especially when compared to the Final Fantasy series that has just been so dry with the whole turn-based thing. It's also insane to me that people complain that it's not turn-based, yet Final Fantasy VII Remastered came out, not turn-based, and people absolutely loved it. Another crazy thing to me also is how the music gets absolutely shitted on, even though one of the main composers for the game is the same chick that did Kingdom Hearts. And not just one, not just two, but 3, Chains of Memories, so many of the side games. Like, I would have to pull up the frickin' Wikipedia page just to count. It's just blisteringly wild to me how little credit people give this game. And of course, I do have to mention one thing. I do have to mention the driving. Now, I know that most people were expecting, as soon as they seen the regalia in the trailer, they were expecting something like this. Deja vu. Of course, being an avid lover of cars that I am, I was pretty disappointed when I first got in the regalia. Finally was able to get manual mode, and it was some of the stiffest driving I've ever played. But it also makes sense with the story. Noctis is very, very picky with his dad's car. It's mentioned multiple times throughout the story, and if you dig a little bit in the lore, you can actually tell why. The car has a lot of sentimental value from Noctis, as it is one of the main places where he spent a lot of time with his dad. His dad was a king, you know, like Noctis spent most of his time at school with Ignis, with Gladio, with Core, and with Prompto. He barely got to see his dad, and one of the most common spots he got to see him was the regalia. So of course, he's not just gonna stomp the gas pedal and hit 120, even though I would love to absolutely do that in game. But it was nice that they gave the car to Forza so we can live out that dream in one of the best racing games out there. What else can I even say about this gorgeous game? The music, absolutely flawless. And I think that's about it. I can't really say anything else without spoiling the game. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little kind of rant, kind of slash attacking criticisms. This is just the Final Fantasy 15 fan speaking out for one of his honest to God favorite games. Um, Let me know how you felt about it down in the comments below. Are you a former player who didn't really give it a chance and I've inspired you to give it one hell of a chance? Have you never even heard of the game before and now you're gonna give it a shot? Because at the time I'm recording this, I believe Royal Edition is on sale for like at, what is it, $17.39 or $12.39? I don't know. My numerical dyslexia is kicking in with that one. You guys can go to the PSN store and find out, though. Probably by the time you guys watch this video, it might not even be on sale anymore. Anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Deuces, and I will talk to you guys next time.